Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page where I do this daily live stream, or as I say, nearly daily. Welcome. It is Sunday, March 3rd. March 3rd. Yeah, third day of March already. It has been a busy weekend here. I don't know what it is for you, but it's a lot of, we're working on the magazine. I am anyway, and Paul has been doing some overtime too. So it's been a working weekend here, March 3rd. So, and it's really cold. When I got up this morning, it was, I think, -8, and we were supposed to have a high of 5. Yeah, 5 degrees above zero. Yeah. Hence, you know how much I like that word. Hence is I'm still broadcasting from home rather than up at the academy. Yeah. If I don't have to go out, I'm not going to. It's too dang cold. Too cold. Let's see. I was going to suggest something, and that is to help me do something. I need your help today. Liking and sharing. I know that I ask you guys every day, but today is even more special to do that because the person who usually helps me with this, which is Stephanie Williams, she's our social media manager. She and her son have the flu and they're down and out. So she won't be joining us today because she's sick. And so if you could help me to spread the word that the show is live streaming, I would appreciate it. Even if you just, send it to a friend, or if you want to send it to your news feed, or if you have a special group of people that you're involved with that you would like to share it, that would be great. I would appreciate it. And if we could send some Reiki or some good juju energy, love to Stephanie and her son, that they get better soon. Having the flu is no fun, is it? And whatever's going around is pretty tenacious. It hangs on. I was just talking to a couple other people in the last few days, and one person has had this it's going on 2 or 3 weeks, where they have this cough that's left over from it, and yeah. So I would appreciate it. I'm going to do it right now. And I'm going to share to, of course, my news feed, just so that my friends know that I'm live streaming. And asking them to please join me. There we go. And then I'm going to actually send it over to a couple of our closed groups. And I'm just going to say, hey, peeps. And letting them know that I'm live streaming. And right now, and asking them to please join me. There we go. And we're going to send it over to the Academy and to the Radio Network closed group. There we go. And that's done. Good. All right. So just know that without Stephanie here, we're not going to have all those cool little extra pieces of information that she finds for us in posts. Okay. Yeah. Hey, Julie Hedges is here. Hello, Julie. Julie Shumway Hill's here as well. Yay. Always good to see you in the chat. And Julie Hedges is here. Thank you for being here, Julie. Good to, yeah. Oh, yay. Thank you, Julie. I appreciate it. And thank you, Julie. Julie twice. Julie Hill and Julie Hedges. Isn't it funny? Both your last names start with H too. Huh. I never honestly never really took that in. Both your last names start with an H too. Very good. And Rochelle just popped in. Hello, Neshi. She says, still sunny here. Yeah, it's sunny here too. Actually, when you look outside from inside, when you're looking outside, it's gorgeous. It's blue sunny skies, and all we have is all the big piles of snow is all sparkly. It's all sparkly. Yeah, I just had to stop for a minute because it looked like the video kind of stalled a little bit, froze. I think we're okay. And Rochelle's also saying that she grounded today. Yay. And thank you for sharing, Rochelle. Thank you. And thank you for grounding. That's a good way to start this, isn't it? Because you know what? We're gonna need to make sure that we're grounded for the information today. I do believe. If you read the post that I did earlier this morning about which cards we got, you might know that we're going to be diving a bit deeper today. And so if you haven't grounded, okay, if you haven't grounded yet today, how about taking just a moment to do that for yourself? And if you need help doing that, please let me know. Just put a comment into the chat and we'll help you with that, okay? I'll give you about a minute or two to do that. I'll chat a little bit before we get started with that, just in case we need to do a short grounding meditation, okay? Yeah, I'm going to move my camera a little bit here. It's a little off center. There we go. It was discombobulating to have it off centered like that. When I came in to set up, I must have moved and put it a little bit off center from where I usually have it. So yeah, today it's cold. It's cold and it's sunny. And with the sun coming off from the snow, it's all sparkly and shimmery, and watching it as it sparkles is really I think it's gorgeous. Will I go out there and play in it? No. It's too cold. George has been out several times, and it's not as cold as, let's say, 30 below that we had a few weeks ago. And Paul's home. That means George is going to be loud. So I'm going to go close the door. Okay, hang on. I wasn't expecting Paul home so quickly. I didn't think he was going to get home till well after we were done with the show. Okay, so if you haven't grounded yet today, please take a moment to do that before we get started with the card information, okay? Because I think we're going to be taking some information a bit deeper, and I think that it'd be beneficial for us to be in a position to really take in all of the information, not just the thoughts, that we're sharing, not just the feelings we're sharing, but also the light language and the frequency, right? Yeah. Okay. Hey, Deborah's here. Hello, Deborah. Good to have you here. And Julie's saying, let's ground together. Okay. All right. Well, let's do that. Okay. So we're going to do just a very short one. Okay. And yeah. I'm just listening to what they're saying, what they're telling me, is to remind you that if you're seated in a chair, is to have both feet on the floor. Okay. I've gotten into the habit lately that I sit on one leg. Yeah. First of all, that's not good for our posture or for our leg for that matter. But when we're doing this kind of technique, you want to have both feet flat on the floor and your spine as straight as possible. It's not going to take very long. It's not going to be like a 30-minute meditation or anything like that. But your spine as straight as possible and your arms and your legs uncrossed. Okay. We want to be an open circuit. All right. So getting in position. Now you can close your eyes if you want to, but you don't have to. If you choose not to, that's all right. And it's okay if you stand to do this one, or even if you're lying down, that's okay too. we're going to start with a couple of deep breaths, okay? Your lungs from the bottom to the top. All right. And when we get to the top of the breath, we're just going to hold it just for a second, and then we're going to blow it out. Blow it out of your mouth, okay? So here we go. Big, deep breath in. Holding it at the top of that breath just for a second, and then exhale. Really blowing it out. Here we go. There. All right. And do that one more time, okay? Big, deep breath in. Holding it just for a second, and then exhaling. There, good. Hopefully you can still hear my voice. If you haven't done your deep breath, then please do so. Thanks, Pat. I kind of noticed that in the studio. The video is stalling on and off. I noticed that. I could try refreshing the screen. Why don't I do that, okay? Because I was just asking if I should do that. We'll try that. I'm going to refresh my screen. It's going to only take me a second, and then I'll be right back. We're right at the very beginning of the grounding, and so please just stay in place, okay? And I know a good one would be is just to call yourself, all of yourself present, okay? Is to call to your birth name 4 times, okay? You can call it quietly to yourself, or you can say it out loud. And we're bringing all aspects of ourself as much as possible to the present moment, okay? I'm going to refresh my screen, and I'll be right back. Okay. Let's hope that helped, huh? If not, then we know that it's not done. We don't really know what it is, really. Could be the internet, my connection to the internet, or the internet in general. It could be Be Live TV, our app, or it could be Facebook, right? We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so hopefully you guys had a chance, just a moment, to call to yourself using your birth name, either quietly to yourself or out loud, and calling your name 4 times, okay? It's bringing all aspects of yourself to the present moment, as much as possible anyway. Good. Okay. Excellent. All right. And now what I'd like you to do is to imagine creator energy. Creator energy. I see it and imagine it as a golden sparkly light, okay? And it's coming down through our crystalline tube, down through the center of us, down through our Hare line. As it comes down gently, flowing through us, down through our crown chakra, down through our 3rd eye, down through our throat chakra, and then sensing or feeling it flowing through your heart chakra, down through your solar plexus, down through your sacral, down through your root chakra, that golden sparkly light, flowing down through both of your hips and down each leg. You can feel it passing your knees, flowing through your calves, through your ankles. That golden sparkling creator light flowing down through your feet, and sensing that creator energy flowing down into Grandmother Earth, down through your instep, down into Grandmother Earth. Imagining that golden light flowing down through you, down through the creator, a constant, gentle, loving flow, connecting you all the way down to Grandmother Earth. And imagine, if you're a woman, sensing a gentle spiral clockwise of that golden light. And if you're a man, sensing that gentle spiral flowing counterclockwise. As it flows down through you, down into Grandmother Earth. Taking a nice, easy, deep breath in. And as you exhale, imagine that you are, that part of you, your energy is rooted to Grandmother Earth. You can even imagine what it would be like a tree, to send your roots all the way into Grandmother Earth. Going deep. Like a sequoia or a redwood. Or a large oak tree. Connecting you to Grandmother Earth. That's good. And now just tell Grandmother Earth that you love her. It's Grandmother, I love you. Grandmother Earth, I love you. Grandmother Earth, I love you. I love you. And then sensing, feeling, seeing her love for you coming to you, surrounding you, and filling you up with her love. Giving you a big hug. Good. In your imagination, imagine calling to your spiritual team and asking them to please come close to you, all of them. And that those on your team that assist you with protection, to please create that circle of protection around you, surrounding you, locking arms, shoulder to shoulder. Then asking one of your guides, a high vibrational guide, to please be your bouncer, to double check all energy that's flowing through the circle of protection is meant for your highest good. And if it's not, that it be sent away. Okay. You may even ask your spiritual team to be with you during this live stream as we share the information to help us to bring in the information that's meant for our highest good and our soul growth to be available to us. There, good. Taking a nice, easy, deep breath in, and as you exhale, coming back to the present moment, the time we call here, now. And so we're prepared. We're prepared for the information, but more importantly, we're prepared for the rest of the day. You know, anything and everything that's occurring around us, that we're in a position to bring in the information that's meant for our highest good, right? Yeah. Okay, good. Let me know, please, in the chat that you're back and that you're doing well. Okay. I'm just double checking to see who's all here while you're doing that. Yeah. Hey, Marilyn. Marilyn's here. Marilyn, hi, and Annie's here too. Good to have you guys here. I'm just checking my phone. All right. Yeah, and I think that refresh on my connection, I think that helped a bit. I didn't notice the video stalling or slowing down. So thanks for letting me know that, Pat. Okay. As I'm waiting for you to let me know that you're back, I noticed it's here in Central Time Zone. It's 2:22. 2:22. So Eastern Time Zone, that must mean it's 3:33, huh? No, 3:22. 3:22. And I'm kind of laughing about that. I've been seeing 3:33 for the last 2 days. And so today, as I was waiting for time before the show started, I took my pendulum out and I was asking questions about what is it that I'm supposed to make a decision about, you know, and I found what it was, and it's you know, I still get contacted by clients, people who still want space clearing or, you know, other kind of work like that. And it's not that I don't do that kind of work. I still do, not as much as I used to. And this happens to be a returning client that I've worked with for, you know, a lot of years. And generally I would say, yeah, sure, no problem. We can get that done for you. I would be doing it from a distance, right? Because I still have a travel restriction called a 99-year-old mom. And when I was checking in for the highest good, I got that, you know, it might not be the best use of energy at this time. And so they didn't tell me I couldn't do it. They were just saying, you know, you want to check it. You want to make sure that this is something that you really, really want to do. And so I did. And so I made the decision that it's the first time I haven't done a space clearing for her, that I don't feel like I'm the right person for it this time around, because my energy is placed elsewhere, and, you know, that it might not be the healthiest thing for me to do at this point. And so that's the first time I've ever told her no. And so I just checked in just before the show and asked if that was all the 333 commotion about, and it was. So yeah. Oh, good. Thank you, Rochelle, for letting me know. Thank you so much. I am going to get started with the card, hoping everybody else is good to go too. And move things around here a bit. All right, for those who are joining us that might be here for the first time, right? Whether you're watching live, which, by the way, thank you very much, or those who are watching by video, recorded show video, thank you for being here. And this is the deck of cards that we're using. It's called the Druid Animal Oracle. And It comes, the perspective comes out of the UK. Gaelic, we're learning a lot about Druidry here and using the Gaelic language for the animals. At least I'm doing my best with the pronunciation. I'm not saying that it's correct, but I'm trying. And here is the reason why did I tell you who the author was? I don't think I did. The author of the deck is Stephanie and Philip Cargome, and the illustrations are by Bill Worthington. Okay, and my friend Mervyn Kelly gifted me this deck of cards for the winter solstice, and so we started using this deck on February 1st. So we've spent 28 days with this deck. We've learned a lot in that time frame, I think. So here's the first card. Now, it's the same card we had yesterday. Okay. Yeah. It's Hare. And I still can't pronounce it correctly. I think it's Gearr in Gaelic. And let me tell you how this card came. I was settling in this morning to do the card draw. I had my morning smoothie, and I was just sitting down on the couch to get this organized and get the cards shuffled and the intention set and all that. And Paul and George came downstairs, and Paul kind of, on his knees knelt in front of me with George by his side. And he goes, "Let us help." And I said, "Well, okay." And I said, so I stated the intention, calling all of our spiritual teams in, and asked Paul to do the same thing. And so I knocked on the cards to knock out the energy from yesterday, and handed him the deck. I thought he was just going to touch the deck, but he started shuffling. And here's George. George takes his nose and underneath Paul's arm and kind of flips it up, right? And Paul looks at him and goes, "You want me to stop here?" Goes, "Okay." And so Paul drew the card out, and George is using his nose and tapping the card, right? And so Paul flips it over, and he goes, "Hey, it's a rabbit." And so I said, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "We got that card yesterday." And, and he shuffled it a few times before George had him stop. And this is the card that came out. So, Hare really wants us to take a look at something. I mean, we do get cards in multiples, but usually not back to back. Yep. So here, we do know that this is a sunrise behind the Hare. We do know that's a dolmen behind him. And the dolmen represents rebirth and new beginnings. It's actually a burial site. And that we have a quarter moon. And that Hare, there's that single eye looking at us straight on, right? And then we have the eggs that represent Esther, or Easter, right? And that the Hare was the original Easter bunny. And that the Hare is, the words connected to Hare through the author is rebirth, intuition, and balance. Rebirth, intuition, and balance. Yeah. So what is it, about Hare that we didn't cover yesterday that either they want us to go over again or take us deeper? And when I was sitting with the card, it really felt like we were going to go deeper in what we talked about yesterday. Thank you, Julie. She says, "Love that story about the card helpers." I know. I know. The two guys in the house, they decide that they want to help. And so, yeah. So I was telling Paul about the Hare, and he says, "What's the difference between a hare and a rabbit?" And I said, "Location." that the hare is found in the UK and in Europe. And I said, the closest thing that we have here in the and or the jackrabbit. There goes the video again. Stalling. Rats. Huh. Let's see. I'm looking at my stones next to me here, if I have anything that's kind of grounding. I think it looks like a tiger's eye. Hang on. Let me grab the tiger's eye, okay? Usually it's hematite, but I don't have any hematite up here. Nope, that's jasper. All right. We're going to have to use this. Let's get some grounding for the computer, for the connection. This is what I'm using. It looks like to me that it's a, well, it's black. It's, I don't want to call it Apache tears because those are more like dots. But it's an egg. It's an egg. All right, so I'm going to put it next to the computer here and see in the connection. And, yeah. Get it grounded. There. Let's see. Let's see how it goes, huh? All right. So anyway, I was telling him it's here in the United States, the closest we probably have to that is the snowshoe and or the jackrabbit. Yeah. I don't think it is. I don't think it is, Rochelle. Snowflake obsidian. Honestly, I don't remember what it is. It's an onyx something, I bet. Yeah. But anyway, I'm using it because usually the darker colored stones are very grounding. And this is black and white. So we'll see. Having another helper here that we can call on. All right. So that we know that the hare brings us the benefit of balance, intuition, and the promise of fulfillment. The hare is a creature of the goddess, the moon and the night, and yet it also represents the dawn, brightness, and the east, the spirit of the east. It's the most adept of animals at shape-shifting. We can never be sure exactly where the hare is, in this world or the other. It represents intuition, which makes things appear suddenly in our consciousness. Okay. And it also represents the corn spirit and the two equinoxes. The hare brings the excitement of rebirth, fertile abundance, and willing release as each creative cycle comes to an end. With the hare as your ally, you'll be able to negotiate times of change, and you'll be able to draw on your intuition to guide you through life. And so yesterday when we talked about this, that was something that I felt like the message of, or the essence of the card yesterday was about how we currently living in a vibration, a frequency that we have never experienced in this particular lifetime. Because we know that Grandmother Earth is in the fourth dimension and moving into the fifth, and is residing in the fifth at some times as well. So she's kind of between the fourth and the fifth. And in order for us to stay with her, our vibration and frequency has to be in a range in order to match hers, right? And if we're still here, that means that that's what we're doing. And that our gifts that we came in with and our intuition, how we use those or apply them may be different than the way we used to do them all the time, right? Because the energy field is different. And so I felt like that was part of the new beginning, right? That many of us are experiencing, wait a minute, that used to work, but now it doesn't work that way anymore. And then, remembering to tap into our spiritual team for assistance so that they can show us how to apply our gifts in a better way, in a more expanded way, maybe in a deep, with all of the healing work that we've been doing for years, some of us, right? Decades, is that we have more access channels to our intuition, to information that's coming through, and that we may be learning how to access and be comfortable with that influx of information, right? Because the second card yesterday was bear, and that was about primordial, the great mother, and about bringing our star power, our soul, and also our instinct or our animal power together, so that we are experiencing our life in a more balanced way. Okay, because the Hare is all about balance as well. Yeah. So, the Hare is well known for the new life, rebirth, and the equinox. They're about fertility, abundance, creativity. And it says that it's the author says that virtually impossible to raise in captivity, supremely fertile, the Hare, when caught, cries like a human child. In the Western tradition and in many other traditions throughout the world, it is strongly associated with the moon, whiteness, dawn, and the east. And so when I first read this part this morning, because I reread it, is that I didn't mention that part about when the Hare can't be raised in captivity, and that when it is caught, that its cry sounds much like a human child's. And so I had to sit with that one for a little bit this morning. Is that when we're not utilizing our gifts as much as we can, or if we have blocks to our intuition or interference, and sometimes we feel kind of lost with it, or that we feel, I keep hearing the term hemmed in, that we're not accessing what we possibly can. And it could be because of the circumstances, right? Okay. All right. So I had to learn how to apply my gifts much differently than I've had in the past, because my mom is here, right? I'm not out there teaching and traveling the way I used to. I was gone every month teaching someplace across the United States. I was teaching coast to coast, and I enjoyed it, and applying my gifts and being of service, right? And so when mom needed me here more at home because of her pain level and not being able to go out and do, I had to find a different way to do that. And I did. Now, I didn't say that it was easy, because I made it more difficult. But when I was able to go through what I needed to go through in 2017, it was after that I felt more comfortable with it, with the new way of of using my gifts, applying them, a new way of working with my intuition, right? And so I didn't feel hemmed in anymore. I didn't feel like I was, and I know I joke about it, about having a travel restriction, but it's that. And so I can't. I'm doing it differently and finding a different way for that application. And I think that when we feel that we're kind of in the unknown about it, we don't know exactly how to do this anymore. Because we spent maybe years doing our work in a certain way, and now it's completely different, and we're kind of at loose ends. We don't know how to do this. And so rather than being frustrated and resentful, is to open up to the possibilities, right? And how do you do that? You have to be balanced, number one. Being grounded is really, really good to be able to do that, because that way you are in a position to be as open as you possibly can be. You're not guarded as much. Okay. Yeah. And Julie said, did you mention clairaudience with the ears yesterday? Yep, we did. Yeah, we did. Clairaudience with the ears. Yeah. And also, one thing that we didn't talk about yesterday is his stance. That both back legs are on the ground, on Grandmother Earth, but his two front legs are up. And this is the part of the Hare, I believe, that's showing in his posture, is that he's in between. He's grounded here on Grandmother Earth, but he's also part of the other world, right? Philip wrote in here that you never know exactly where he's going to show up. That we can never be sure exactly where the Hare is in this world or in the other. And so he has that ability to be able to go from one dimension to another, from one realm to another. Yeah. And that he's standing right in front of this dolmen. And the dolmen is all about, see, I know it's here. He says that in the background stands a dolmen, symbol of rebirth. And in the foreground, we see the lapwing's nest with the eggs. So it's about rebirth. It could also be about, with the eggs, it could also be about abundance and fertility. Yeah. But really, today, I really do believe that this has to do with his stance, the in-between. Because, we could look at it as, or feel it as, I should probably say, is that many of us are kind of in between. We're not a part of the old world or the old paradigm, and we're just trying to find comfort in the new. You can kind of say that we had how we would provide our services and how we were connected to spirit well in hand in the old paradigm, in the old world, in the 3D, even in parts of the 4D, right? And the 4D is all about transition. It's a time where it can feel kind of chaotic, and I'm thinking about how Carl Franklin describes the fourth dimension. But it's a time of transition. And so it can feel kind of chaotic at times. And it does provide the opportunity for us to use our gifts in a way that, because we have to be able to use them amidst the chaos, right? That going away and hibernating or escaping house, um, that doesn't help you to be able to learn how to use your gifts in the new vibration, the new frequency, and really, it also is a testament to how much we learned to be able to apply our gifts in the old world, when we can stand in the midst of chaos and still apply and use our gifts. Yeah. And so we're kind of in between. We have us being grounded to Grandmother Earth, and yet we're also a part of that next realm, that next dimension. Yeah, I did notice that, Rachel. I did notice that the video starts to, it kind of freezes for like a second, and then it starts flowing again. Yeah, I did notice that. I'm hoping that in the recording that that freezing doesn't happen. I'm hoping. Hey, David Sturkin's with us. Hello, David. And Mary Anderson Fry's here too. Good. All right. So for those who just joined us, we received this card yesterday too. And so whenever we get multiples, right, of the same card, Spirit really wants us to take a look at something closer, deeper. They want to make sure we get the essence that we're meant to get. And so before we even started this information share, that we did a grounding, protection, balancing, so that whatever information is here and ready for us, that we can take it in as best we can, as full as we can, in every possible way, not just through the verbal language, right? And not just through the written, just seeing the word of the name of the animal, but also in the light language, in the frequency, right, in the vibration of the card. So we had Rabbit as the first card, the primary. And so because we had this yesterday, I was interested in knowing what Spirit could tell us about where we needed to go with this information to make sure that we understand it as fully as possible, right? And so I had Paul and George draw another card, and so Paul is shuffling, and there was a card that it didn't fall out, but it kind of slid out. It was about 3/4 of the way out, right? And George is watching him, and George goes to grab the card, right? So his nose hits the card. So Paul pulled it out and handed it to me. And this is the second card that came. And it's interesting. This is Blackbird. Because on Thursday, because I didn't do a live stream on Thursday, this is the card that came on Thursday. Blackbird. In Gaelic, it's pronounced Druid Dhubh. Druid Dhubh. The black druid, or the dark druid. Yeah. All right. So here, since we haven't had this card yet, I'm going to start at the top. And so you can see the stars, right, in the sky. In the background, you have a tree with no leaves on. So it's got to be winter or fall, maybe spring. But there's a cave. And the bird is on a branch. And there again, We only have one eye. So we're actually seeing him in profile. He has that red berry down at the bottom. Right? And it looks like, there we go. And we also have an ogham down at the bottom of the branch there on that stone. A carving into it, that's an ogham. That's a Druid tree language. It kind of looks like an F in a way, doesn't it? And take a look at that cave. How many faces are coming out or at the door of that cave? Or at the very top of the cave? Yeah. Blackbird. I knew very little about Blackbird, as a power animal. I knew very little about it. And so reading about it from the perspective of the author, I can honestly say I don't think I've ever seen a blackbird. I've seen birds that are black, but I've never seen a black bird. So how many people in the chat have ever seen a blackbird? Not a bird that's black, but a black bird. Yeah. And Rochelle says the sky is so blue. Yeah, it's almost like when there's a full moon at night, and you have that it's not a black sky when you're looking at the clouds or up in the sky, or maybe it's more like toward dawn or at dusk and the stars are out. Maybe that's more like it. Yeah. So remember the second card, this blackbird is supporting the information coming from Hare. Okay. And here, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at them together. Take a look at them together to get a sense or a feel of their energy together. So they're not really looking at each other, they're looking at us, right? Now, the blackbird is grounded. She's sitting on a limb. She's not in flight. She's sitting, connected to Grandmother Earth. I don't know if I can get them both in there. The dolmen in the cave. And the fact that one is black and one is white, right? The opposite colors. Isn't that interesting? So what did you feel when you saw them together? When you saw them together, what did you feel? Oh, it's almost 3:00 already. Oh my goodness. We're going to go over just a bit, okay? Because I want to make sure that you guys get the information about the blackbird. So here's about the blackbird. The card shows a blackbird sitting on a rowan tree. It's twilight and the first stars are just appearing in the sky. In the background, we see the entrance to an enchanted cave. Druid Dhubh is the bird of both the gateway and the forge. Druid Dhubh calls us from the gateway between two worlds, urging us to follow a spiritual path or to become more self-aware. He calls us in the twilight, showing us the path, pointing out the ways in which we can discover more about our hidden motivations and potentials. There are times when we must attend to the haunting song of our soul, which calls to us to a study of spiritual truths and to an exploration of inner world through dreams and myths. In heeding Druid Dhubh's song, you will discover healing and new depths in your soul. His song may be calling you to work in the forge of your own heart, to create a life of passion and purpose. The smith uses all four elements in metalworking, and to create a healthy and balanced life, we must work with the power of all four elements. Interesting, huh? The berries down below, those are rowan berries. And the rowan tree is a sacred tree in the Druid tradition. It says that it carries a minute pentagram, a magical symbol of protection and power that figures largely within the Druid work, and that symbolizes good health among many, and that it connects us to the healing song, to the balancing and regeneration powers of the other world and unconsciousness when we eat them. And that the blackbird is one of the oldest animals, of the totem animals, I should say. So it's the blackbird, the stag, the owl, the eagle, and the salmon. And it says that the blackbird was the first totem in the cycle. He stands at the gateway between two worlds, calling us with his song, lulling our waking minds to sleep and our psychic faculties to awakeness. It says that harnessing the power of fire and using it in combination with the air and water and the ore extracted from the earth, the smith has seemed to be working with all four elements to produce items vital to the wellness of the tribe. Druid Dhubh represents the otherworldly smith, the master of fire who calls to us with his healing song, telling us that he can work with the air of our minds, the water of our hearts, the earth of our instincts, and the fire of our spiritual passion to forge a new life for ourselves based on beauty, dignity, and purpose. Okay, so when we have these two put together, I'll go the opposite direction here. I really do feel like the blackbird supporting the message coming from Hare, and that is about how we can call on spirit to help us as we learn more about how we can apply our gifts and use our intuition in this new frequency, this new vibration. Because the old way is not going to work anymore. Not by itself, not all by itself, but to be able to forge a new way of being in this new vibration. And we're still continuing to do our spiritual work. We're still continuing to do our healing work on our emotional and mental traumas so that we can remove even more debris, interferences in our access to our intuition and to our gifts, right? But with these two, I think that they're really telling us about how we can that we have the ability. We're standing in the in between, understanding how we used to be in the old world, in the old paradigm, and preparing for that being in the new. I wish we had more time. I wish we had more time to talk about this. Maybe what I can do is take this information. I'm going to see if there's any of the show hosts or contributing writers who want to do a free mini class through the academy, right? And if we have any takers with that, then that's great. But if we don't, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this topic back as a mini class, okay? Because I really think that it's that important. Yeah, I do. So I'm so glad you guys are with me today. And I apologize for the video being kind of wonky. I don't know what that's all about. But if anything vibrated, resonated with you, and with the information that was shared, is to please embrace it and see how the day unfolds for you, where this energy can be found, and what the information, how it can help you. Okay, it's just to sense, see, and feel how that goes for you. If it didn't resonate with you, don't worry about it. It's okay. No worries. Maybe you're just a messenger for it. Maybe you can share the recorded show with a friend, somebody who's looking for information like this or enjoys this kind of conversation. Yeah, something like that. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern for the daily live stream and group card draw. Okay. I would normally go into all kinds of stuff about what we're offering this week, but you know what? I think I'm going to just leave the video the way it is because of how it stops and starts. All right. So I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Okay. So Bama Mina until we see each other again. Love you guys.